You can't make me throw OpenStack under the bus. Look, I love those projects. I love those people. But you're asking me about Kubernetes on bare metal and whether I'm seeing the same patterns. Yeah, I'm seeing things. What kind of things? The vibes, the same vibes. This belief that if we just get the right open source project, the right community, that we'll magically run our own infrastructure without paying for expertise. That running Kubernetes on bare metal is somehow going to be free. It's not free. The software is open, but the servers aren't free. The data center isn't free. And that expertise to make it all work together, that's the most expensive part. And nobody wants to talk about it. And you saw this with OpenStack? I lived it with OpenStack. We had this intoxicating dream. Own your hardware, own your data center, own your destiny. And we thought the community would just figure out the operations part. Turns out, bare metal is hard. Sure, it's really profitable to own your own bare metal instead of rent, but you're going to have to manage it yourself. And you're thinking to crowdsource that expertise, it's not a strategy, it's fantasy. But Kubernetes is different. Kubernetes is simpler. Simpler architecture, fewer layers. They learned from OpenStack's mistakes. But here's what hasn't changed. People still think they can slap Kubernetes on bare metal and skip the hard parts. Network configuration, storage integration, firmware updates, BIOS settings, certificate management across physical nodes with multiple NICs. They see the Kubernetes and think the dragon's been slain. The dragon? Bare metal is a dragon. It's always been the challenge. So in the cloud, somebody else feeds the dragon. You never see it. But on bare metal, you're in a cave. You're fighting alone because every server is a little bit different. Every firmware version has quirks. Every network switch has options. There's no community standard. You have to pull all that into a working platform. And no one in the community has quite the same environment. From the operator's perspective, you are on your own. OpenStack couldn't slay it. OpenStack couldn't even see it. The developers built DevStack, and that runs everything on one laptop. Developers never had to touch real hardware again. They'd write the code, pass a single machine test, and ship it. And then operators would deploy to actual servers and discover nothing worked. Configuration nightmares, impossible troubleshooting, and the developers were already on to the next version. You're seeing that pattern now? I'm seeing people spin up Kubernetes in Kind, Minikube, or even the public cloud and VMs. They can define a platform team to manage it, but you can't assume that production on bare metal will be the same experience. Just can't be. So how do you break that pattern? Stop expecting bare metal expertise to be free and easy. Look, you want to run your own infrastructure? That's great. The vision to self-manage an OpenStack inspired RackN's mission. Build your own hardware, own your own data, control your own destiny. But you're either going to hire the expertise, build a team like Google, Microsoft, or Amazon do, or you're going to pay somebody who's already solved these problems. And even the biggest players still get help. Look, making the software open does help, but expertise can't be as easily replicated, especially because ops environments are all a little bit different. That's the hard lesson I learned working to boost OpenStack adoption. And I'm watching the Kubernetes operators line up for the same hard lesson. Is there any hope? Yeah, Kubernetes is simpler, and the ecosystem tolerates vendors, so people are allowed to charge money for making things work, and that's way healthier. But virtual and AI workloads require complex environments with demanding uptime needs. You can't just say, we got it on cloud and VMs, how hard can metal be? Yeah, I've seen the prequel of that movie. But maybe we don't have to repeat history. We learned from OpenStack and built Digital Rebar to solve this exact problem. All that bare metal expertise, the firmware, the networking, the bespoke weirdness of every environment, we encoded it. automated it, made it repeatable. Look, in today's cloud-first world, you can't hire an ops team with years of bare metal battle scars and governance knowledge. I don't think you should have to. RackN makes it so that deep bare metal configuration and process expertise can be included in the software. We've bottled the power to own your own infrastructure. And that's what we did differently.